another session of Candlekeep Mysteries. Last time on the Candlekeep Mysteries, you entered back into the Canopic Being, and this time with a hell-bent intentions against the worms that had made a mockery of you before. After you laid waste to some hyenas and destroyed part of the local ecology, but in a justifiable manner of self-defense, you returned back over to the depot, where you found Valen, and, returning back on good terms, they quickly were able to somehow deduce that you had one of the crystals on you. As soon as they grabbed a hold of it, the chapter ended with Phoenix reaching their quarry, Morik, who no longer appeared to recognize him. You then immediately entered into the next chapter of the Canopic Being, where you started making plans on what to do. Now knowing the location of more than a single crystal inside of the desert, and also that a train was heading on the way within a week's time, you set out to a location that was only 3 days away, where you encountered some heavily armed Scorpion Centaur folk, who you exchanged goods with and got a nice little statue of... Did I ever say who the statue was of? Or what the statue was? Yeah, Orcus.
Yeah.
You got a figurine of Orcus in your possession, along with some clay cylinders, neither of which have been properly identified yet, although they are very evidently magical. You then arrived over here, with Mimi increasing their power of the aspect of speed into this absolutely massive heap, junkyard of some kind. And now, with everything settled, Mimi hopped up to one of the highest points, where there is an individual over here that seems to have appeared, as that is where the session begins.
I found it.
Oh my god.
Still pause! Ah!
I believe Mimi was asking a question last time.
Yeah, Mimi... Well, Mimi was looking, and the one person down there was like, go tell your dang sheriff about... or something like that. It's like, your sheriff or mine?
Alright, so they're going to put one of their hands on their side, and they're going to respond by casting this. Because it's a little more civilized than just yelling at each other across this heap. His response is, our sheriff. The sheriff of Tashluda, as you damn well know, is Netherdick.
Oh,
Sheriff who?
So the sheriff of Tashluda.
Tashluda. Where's that? Is that here? Cool.
I'm just going to fucking glare at you blankly because you've got to be shitting me. I'm going to repeat the shoo, as in go get him.
Okie dokie. Jumping is determined by strength, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Damn it. Which was Dex? Is that maybe a little? Wait. Don't monks have some fucking thing for jumping? I forget. Whatever.
Yes, when you use Step of the Wind.
Double jumping distance when they use Step of the Wind.
Oh, that's all. That uses.
It does take 1 key point, though, to do so.
Yeah, no, I'm not gonna waste the key. So Mimi is going to zoom.
Zoom.
Hey.
I'm guessing at some point in the 30 to 40 minutes, we eventually arrive here.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, Mimi gives a quick description of the general layout that she could see. I'm not sure how far down the map she could see. And then like there's this one like bird person. I think they're a bird
Yeah,
person.
you could see the Kenku. I have that written down.
Kenku. There's a Kenku that is living somewhere in like this fucking giant bell, and then there's this like scholarly Wild West Minotaur dude, and he's like asking for a sheriff of this one place, and he names the place, and I already forgot it because I have my bill.
Tashluda.
Josh Lidar.
What's
I'll
the name
write
of
it in
Sorry.
chat.
Yeah, thanks.
Just making sure I get the spelling right. Don't mind me.
Ashluta.
Ashluta.
Is that you? Is that you? Ah,
Phoenix is looking at probably the only person the most sheriff outfit looking here, as he just says, I don't know if this Tashluta, but perhaps question mark.
come on.
Do you mean to say that you are now the sheriff by virtue of being in this story?
That is entirely possible.
Hey, narrator,
This-
is he the sheriff now?
The man, as they say.
There's no narrator in this story.
Oh, there isn't?
Well, thank God for that, honestly.
That's weird. I got used to there being a narrator. Interesting.
It's a little lonely without one.
Yes, but perhaps more predictable. Do not enjoy being in combat and suddenly finding twice the amount of fiends because of an unreliable narrator.
He just has his quirks. He gave me this really cool. And she's like bouncing up and down with her aspect.
This is fair point.
Layla
Alright,
just-
alright.
They're just Nikkei died.
Alright,
Wow.
we can discuss the ups and downs of A's later, but this Minotaur, was he amicable? Did he seem like he was looking to pick a fight? What was his mood?
He seemed a little aggressive, but not like wanting to pick a fight, but just a grumpy person kind of deal.
Sounds like a criminal. I'll apprehend him and take him to justice.
Well, he wanted a sheriff. So I'm guessing that it was more along the lines of he's got a complaint, or they're just a curmudgeon.
Complaint? What could possibly be a complaint? Maybe he has some work for me to do. Hard to say. Until I actually speak with this fellow. That is, if they're even looking for me.
Well, Mimi will be like, this way, and unfortunately have to stick to the walkways this time.
Hey, Aqua.
Yeah.
Given that I know very little about this place, the city that Miss what's her name was going to, was she going to the city Tashluta?
Did you ever ask him?
No. But I did see the map. Surely the city would be named on there.
You do have a perfect memory, and you did in fact see a map.
Yeah.
Having only briefly looked at the map, and with your history expertise along with the memory, along with your earlier prediction about which direction it would have been, Tashluta was on the map to the north.
History expertise, damn.
History expertise on top of keen mind.
Never fail in anything. Oh, I miss that one.
Oh, I miss Alan too.
We miss Alan too.
Oh, sorry.
I'm guessing at some point we arrive here.
Mm-hmm. You've got like ridiculous perception, right, Phoenix?
Oh yeah, it's cracked. Unless you want to try hiding anything, give it a try.
When you first see this individual, you know without a doubt you're looking at an officer of the law. You don't even need to see the deputy's badge on his chest to figure that out.
He's
But
a
it
man
is
of
there.
upstanding character.
Here's our sheriff person.
Alright, he's gonna be looking directly at Phoenix as he goes. And what do you have to say for yourself, Sheriff?
I should be asking you that question.
Right? Deputy, not sheriff.
Oh, sorry, deputy.
Pulling rank on this guy,
That is probably the most surprising thing you could have said to him. So he's just going to be a little dumbfounded by that.
Wow, he's climbing all over the place.
Phoenix
Yeah,
is
gross.
Phoenix is under the assumption that he's done absolutely nothing wrong, because he himself would never
Has done
do anything.
nothing wrong.
There were witnesses, Sheriff, like after he finally pulled himself back together again. Am I supposed to believe it was some kind of doppelganger then?
That is likely to be the case. I have been with this crew this entire time.
Alright, he is definitely fucking insight checking you.
Fair.
Well, I'm not deceiving, so go ahead.
Mhm.
Digging this music.
Oh, I forgot to
Yeah,
turn the
it's
music
good.
back on.
I'm not entirely certain what contested check I should make here, because Phoenix is not lying. Would it be persuasion here?
Yeah, probably persuasion.
Let's go.
He's skeptical, but he's willing to entertain this story, I think. He's gonna be looking around at the rest of the party.
Layla
going to say to
actively
Phoenix
avoiding
and
eye
be like,
contact.
perhaps we can get some answers from him about what in hell's name is going on here.
Problem. I'm deputy. I believe that you're currently maybe encountering a misunderstanding. Can you clarify as to the charges against me?
Alright, he's going to close his eyes as if concentrating hard, as if he's been trying to memorize this list. Okay. Trespassing on private property. Illegal excavation of protected archaeological sites. Tampering with evidence of a crime scene. Destruction of historical artifacts. Evading the authorities. That's you specifically. The rest of your little happy family here, he's going to glance at specific people in general. Like, let's start with Mimi.
Specific people in general.
Yes. Public
I'm-
indecency
I'm inciting you.
and
This guy's
smuggling
correct,
of contraband
Oh
across
my
city
God.
lines. Oh, wait, that was intoxication, not indecency. Whoops.
Indecency is fine, I was intoxicated once.
I was about to be like, Mimi, when did you
And I
start
was-
stripping?
You know ball.
Alright.
Wait, it was
I
not
rolled a
Mimi?
7 on an insight check. Is this guy legit?
I mean, Phoenix is going to be inciting no matter what, so.
Yeah, but maybe I get the truth first.
I think these two men of the law should not be inciting each other. In fact, they're both like upstanding characters. They should just start kissing, you know?
Why don't you kiss and make up about it?
Photoshop that Among Us gift to like have little cop.
A 4 is a 24.
You rolled a 4 and got 24.
Jesus Christ.
Bro.
This man seems on the level, Phoenix.
It's got a flat plus 17 plus a die 4 to a d20.
That's insane. I love
Minimum
Phoenix.
19.
Love it.
Minimum 19. Jeez.
If he doesn't seem to be lying, then it seems that we have ourselves here a interesting conundrum. And I can assure you that any such charges would definitely not be for any of these members in my party.
I mean, I technically didn't finish.
Oh, okay.
Alright. And then
Hold up.
the public indecency was for, I believe, what the fuck is your name, Mr. Sanghim? I actually don't know how to pronounce that.
Mine?
Thank you.
Yeah.
Sanghas?
Sanghas, right. Whoops. I wasn't actually reading because apparently I'm blind.
No worries.
Sorry.
Alright. Public indecency?
And
I looked up-
catcalling.
That's
Cat
alright.
calling.
He calls me.
That's just descriptive. As far as
And
indecency
then
goes.
For Mr. Deadeye in the back over there, only mild arson.
Well,
Yes, I was surprised too. And then
Wild.
for
Damn,
Ms.
next time I gotta
Brandt,
try harder.
jaywalking. And that will be the end of the
Jaywalking?
list.
jaywalking.
What
even is
is
that?
an art. I don't understand why this is a crime.
sounds
I'm like, I'm
over
from
just-
Boston. I'm like, hey, it's an art. You just learn how
Yeah,
to jaywalk.
You
Like,
have
get
to
good
just
at it. Come on.
you have to just step into the road, otherwise you're not getting across.
Sounds like we've all become disreputable villains.
I mean, can you blame me? I'm made of fire. How can I not burn things?
Yes,
Like,
that- I think-
you
I
have,
think
but I
that's-
myself have never committed such crimes.
That's how dare you say such things about my good friend Zashi did. That's profiling. You're
Racial profiling.
And while your charges are good for my image, I actually didn't do those things.
Wait, what
You're
did
like,
you say
trust
you
me,
did?
I would admit it.
Who did I catcall even?
I said me. I'm a cat. You called me.
Mimi's M here.
If you're implying anything sexual, I'll have you know that I'm gay and borderline ace for that matter.
Oh, sexual. No, yeah, no.
Oh.
I'm not interested.
Yeah.
He's gonna have his
You-
arms crossed as like he listens to all of this.
I can't believe he's homophobic as well.
Those were the charges on your wanted posters back in town.
I've got a wanted poster?
Perhaps if you are
Easy.
genuinely curious about us
Sick.
having committed such crimes, Phoenix immediately will cast this.
Fireball.
Sasha,
He
no.
literally stands in his own zone of truth.
What's that? Fireball?
No.
That's a great
Interesting.
idea.
He stands in his own zone of truth and just immediately fails it. As he says,
Oh, whoops, that was not meant to be private.
oh, okay.
Two zone of truths.
Oh, well
It's
done.
the,
Twice the truth.
the truth of the Venn diagram of truth. Oh.
Dude, two truths make a false? I don't know.
Is that three?
No, no,
That's
no, it's
three
not a
now.
double negative.
I accidentally did this in private, so there's actually 2 for me on accident.
So
Oh,
many
cool.
truths.
Phoenix
like
Three
just
zones of truth.
Phoenix stands cross-armed inside the zone of truth as he just boldly states, the crimes levied against me have nothing. I have done no such thing.
And
Hey,
does my
sorry,
zone of
I
truth
forgot.
rock?
I'll message you. Hold on.
What did you say I did? I forgot.
On a failed save, a creature can't speak a deliberate lie while in the radius. You know whether they failed its saving throw.
What was the exact line you just said then?
Me?
Yeah.
The crimes levied against me are untrue. I've committed no such things.
I'm
What
still
did you
waiting
say
for
you
Aqua
did?
to send me something.
Yeah, hold on. I'm checking the wording on this. Give me a second.
In addition to the ones that like everyone was levied with, Mimi's were smuggling of contraband across city lines and public intoxication.
Well,
Okay, well, maybe, maybe she did do this.
okay, I have a belt, these fancy new gauntlets, and a ring, as well as python's torch, watchskin, rope, and a potion, and a tinderbox, and a backpack. Mimi does not carry shit. Although, if she wanted, other than people, if people were contraband, she may have done that.
Phoenix is too
Ugh,
much of a stickler of a
traffic.
law to actually break him. So he himself won't be lying with that.
Oh wait, Zone of Truth doesn't like give you any particular ping. It just stops you from saying or doing certain things, right? Yeah. Okay.
Yes, exactly.
Your statement goes through without any interruption, Phoenix.
Yes! He also knows that I failed the saving throw for the Zone of Truth. So
That's
it can
true.
only be perceived that what he's saying is the truth.
Or at least that
Well, I'll be.
I've not done any of those. Also deliberately fails. I've only been
Wait.
drunk like 3 times, only one in recent times. Others were,
When am
like
I getting messaged, Aqua?
a decade
Ah.
ago.
I'd like to
Well, that's
point out
the
that I don't
sheriff,
cause
but-
a little bit of arson.
What about the rest of you? Why don't
I
y'all
can-
get in here?
I can vouch for them as well
Okay.
that possibly the charges levied against them are also false.
I mean,
Zashi will step inside the zone of truth and say, I don't cause a little bit of arson. I am made of fire. If it's arson, it's going to be a lot of it. Also, how did you get my mistranslated dead family name?
It was on your poster. Ask
I
the
haven't
writers.
given it to anyone.
freaky.
That's
That's
true.
unsettling.
I haven't gone around introducing myself by first and last name around here, so
I tend not to use a name I no longer
Oh,
hold
that's
as
who
my
it is.
own.
I don't see Jacob here.
I'm literally right here.
He's at the start.
I actually don't. Oh, you're at the
Oh,
start.
shit,
of the map.
what? I'm rubber banding all over the place.
Like, you're all over here right now.
I'm sorry.
There
So
you go.
Tony's also at the start.
Alright,
Um,
Zashi's statement went through.
Well, ho there. Could you take us to where these posters are? I for one am interested in clearing my name. I'd rather be known for the
I'd like
good
to know
things
who
I do.
managed to obtain a name I don't use.
I mean, I've only been drunk once in a place that would care about that shit. The other places were in orc tribes. They don't give a shit if you're drunk in public. They're drunk in public all the time.
He's still
Not being
waiting for
drunk
the
is-
rest of you all to get into the zone of truth.
Oh, yeah. Oh, sorry. I step forward and say, I don't catcall people, and... Like, I'm a public figure in Waterdeep, so I wouldn't go around stripping?
You're inside the zone, right, Jacob?
Yeah, I step forward.
You're in the middle of trying to speak your sentences and they're not going through.
What?
Phoenix is looking at Jacob.
I look incredibly confused.
I'm going to lean over and just say, perhaps don't mention Waterdeep or anything outside of this book.
Listen, I'm a public figure where I'm from, and I wouldn't make a habit of revealing myself or being like that would be. I wouldn't be able to book gigs that if I got a reputation for that. I didn't do these things.
Yeah, so you tried to say that final part. But I didn't do these things. You just said it stops at I.
I don't understand. Which is
It's just
true.
like-
I have no idea what's going on.
You would be able to book gigs if you got a reputation for doing that. It'd just be a different kind of gig.
All right, so
Rather evasive,
wink,
ain't
wink.
ya?
So let's make it clear, like, what I said that actually went through. Where I'm from, I'm a public figure. It would make it hard to book gigs if I did this kind of thing. I'm very confused.
Phoenix just like places his hand over his eyes and just starts shaking it.
The
I'm-
deputy is noting that you are being evasive.
Well,
Anyone else
I
jumping in?
genuinely am confused.
Jacob, please,
What?
do not make this worse than it already is.
What? What?
Come on, Jacob. You are being incredibly difficult right now.
What? Who? I don't know.
And,
I don't even know who we're talking about here.
Phoenix turns to Ash, and your minor crime of jaywalking.
I mean, everyone was being accused of the first 5 that the sheriff was, basically.
Oh, Layla didn't hear her name, so she's just chilling.
Oh, of the first 5. Well, let me see. I have certainly not been destroying any historical sites or running from the authorities, trespassing on private property insofar as I know. I would not.
But as you're beginning to try, they're articulating this in your mind, what you're planning to say, it's all stopping at I.
Well, this is most curious.
Wait. Oh.
I'm going to kind of turn toward Phoenix hopelessly and be like, I believe we are at the mercy of this narrative right now.
Phoenix is like even more confused because he's like,
What?
he's starting to ponder something, and then he just says, so he's gonna attempt to say something to the deputy, and so he's gonna say, most curious deputy, as he turns to you. I think there may be some sort of memory adjustment being happening here against my party members. It is hard to say, but I know for a fact that they have not committed such things.
And is that going through the zone of truth?
That's going through.
Well, that's just confusing.
Yes, I'm not entirely certain what exactly is happening with the Zone of Truth spell and their words, but I know that these people would never have committed such things.
Would never have? Is that strictly speaking true?
Everybody looks at Jacob.
Really?
I mean-
Like out of character, like you know.
I
Jacob's
mean,
a
I
good
sort
dude,
of
but
caused
he-
arson accidentally. So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Mimi is a historian, so
Yeah.
she would do this kind of thing, but properly.
No, I feel like everybody actually looks at Zashi because we're like the mild arson. We're like, like you are on fire. Like-
Yeah, no. See, the thing is, it wouldn't be mild arson.
Yeah.
It's
He's-
either
he's
full
on-
blown arson or
he's
none at
like-
all.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's his
You're
claim.
like, no, guys, it wouldn't be mild.
Like, if I was really trying to burn something down, you'd know.
It wouldn't be there anymore if I was trying to burn it down.
Yeah, that checks.
Who are you? By the way, what's your deal?
Frankly, Deputy, I don't think this zone of truth is going to be very helpful, at least in terms of this peculiar incident, as he drops his own zone of truth.
Yeah, I'm gonna drop my zone of truth too.
Can someone tell me how you delete such effects on the thing?
You gotta go down to the measurement controls on the top left thing on the left, and then you can click on them and delete them.
Yeah, it's like the ruler icon, and that's where you can go there, and then you can click on them, and then you can delete them.
It doesn't let me click on them. At least it didn't before. Here, I'll make one out of the way, and then...
Well, the sheriff already knows who I am, but to the rest of you,
Fuck.
well, folk back home call me Bullseye.
Phoenix is
reckon
like, I didn't know
y'all
who you,
can
in his
too.
mind, it's like, I didn't know who you were till now. I'm memorizing it
But he
now.
keeps that to himself.
But
Mimi
yes,
just-
he is introducing himself by the name of Bullseye.
Just like Toy Story.
Pleasure to meet you then, Bullseye. Suppose we need not introduce ourselves. You seem to know more about us than we do. But I'm Jacob.
Mimi.
Layla.
Ash.
I already
Zashi,
got
as you
your
already know.
names.
Just Zashi.
So tell me something, Sheriff. Why in the nine hells are you out in this goddamn desert then?
I'm doing a serious investigation of some peculiar items that appear to be happening around these parts.
You're doing it with strange company, Sheriff.
The stranger to company allows for easier talks with maybe those more less scrupulous. It makes it more easier for me to blend in, as he points towards his sheriff badge.
Doesn't that being there make it a little harder?
You would think so, but with traveling with this company, it's a strangely easier.
Well, some of
You
us
can
can
say
do things
so,
we can't.
Sheriff.
Are we his criminal beard?
You said you were looking for... What was it you were looking for?
Looking for strange artifacts. I am under the assumption, or quite certain, that I will be able to find one at this location. Perhaps speaking to the locals, I hear that there's a Kenku around this parts.
Yeah, the locals. They're superstitious, but harmless.
Superstition usually has some degree of truth, Deputy. I would have taught you this. Now, where are they?
Well, Crinkle's over here. The us are all the way around the wall. Like, they go in the-
Crinkles, is that what you said that one is called?
I think, if I remember right, his name is Crinkle.
I know, I'm just writing it down, so that's why I'm like, alright, got it.
As he tells him that, he pulls out a notepad as he's like, all right, then the discussion with Crinkles begins. And so he starts making his way.
I'll follow your lead, Sheriff.
He's falling from up on the cliff.
Phoenix gets here, he finally takes a good look at Sprinkles. Yes. They seem like welcoming.
As you approach, things kind of calming down a bit from the accusations and interrogations earlier. You reach over to this Kenku, who appears to be holding onto a lantern of some kind, but is mostly just brushing the ground nearby as if trying to clear away the sand. Water doing so, more sand constantly piles up anyway, which kind of makes it a futile effort. But they keep doing it anyway.
We start slowly approaching them, and as an icebreaker will say, isn't it quite difficult to clean sand with all this sand around?
What an icebreaker.
Sand. It gets everywhere.
Why, hello there! Welcome! I don't think I've seen you here before.
No, I am Sheriff Phoenix of... Hold on. He has to use his new title. I'm so used to say Detective of Waterdeep, but he has to say Sheriff of Tashluta.
Well, I'm Crinkle.
It is a pleasure to meet you. Crinkle.
Don't dig through the heap!
Dig through the heap.
Don't! It's bad luck! Don't do it!
Phoenix is writing that down
Makes sense.
seriously. As he's just like,
Write that down, write that down.
write that down, write that down. He says,
Bullseye will gesture towards the Kenku as if to say, yeah, I told you so.
and what exactly is this? What do you say? What do you call it again? The deep?
The heap.
The heap? Like, he says, what exactly is the heap?
It's got a bunch of stuff. It's where a lot of us live, and it's a nice place where we can hang out without having to worry about the desert things that much.
The heap.
Yeah, the heat.
And you said we live amongst, so I'm to take it that you have others here as well?
Oh, there's a couple of us. If you can visit them. Everyone here is nice, friendly folk, because we don't want to cause anybody any trouble. And I don't think you'll cause us any trouble either, which is good.
I'm gonna incite that.
They appear to be telling the truth, though the soundness of their mind is left to one's imagination.
Oh. Oh dear.
Fair enough. And why is it bad to look at the heap?
It just is. You'll be digging and then things just fall on you. This one time, one of my friends was digging through and then suddenly a chair fell on his head. It was bad.
A chair?
That just sounds like
Yes.
management.
And then another time, another one of my friends was digging through one of the left sides. They found a nice painting and they were looking at it. And they picked it up, and you know what happened next?
No, go on.
A chair fell on his head!
Another chair. I am shocked.
There's a lot of chairs.
The Phoenix is going along with it as he says, lots of chairs. And what happens if you just simply remove the chairs that are above you?
Well, that would be bad luck, wouldn't it? Maybe another chair would fall on your head if you did that. And that would be bad luck. But that's why you don't look for things inside of the heap, even though there's a lot of really good things inside of there. But instead, why don't you join our knitting club? We have one.
No, I'm afraid my hands are not good at that kind of work. Though, you have been most helpful. By any chance, have you heard of any sort of artifact being in this area? Perhaps. As he looks towards the heap. Is the heap like all of this trash, by the way?
You see heaps of junk everywhere.
Yeah.
I think that's a yes.
An artifact? There's probably one in the heap somewhere. I've never looked for it, though.
Interesting. Well, thank you for, sorry to have disturbed you from your, as he's looking at them fruitlessly, sweep the sand, as he says, from your sweeping. I hope that you have a good day, as he, lifts his hat and he places it back down.
Yes, you just let me know if there's anything we can do. There's lots of empty houses, because the previous residents disappeared. They tried to dig through the heap.
Yes, I'm guessing.
Disappearances. Might I see these empty houses?
Oh, yes. If you would take a look. If you look over yonder, there used to be somebody inside of there, living inside of that big hut in the tree. It's empty now! You know why it's empty? You know what happened to the resident there?
Because they
guy?
dug through the heap?
No! They were walking around inside of their home after digging through the heap. Nothing had happened. And then they tripped on a chair and cracked their head open.
That sounds like
terrible.
That sounds like an attempted murder.
Oh, no. No. There was nobody else there.
We should probably
They just tripped.
A locked room mystery. Thank you for explaining, as Phoenix starts making his way towards the building.
It's hardly a large room, it's a hut.
Take care.
Goodbye.
Oh, the knitting club is to the south if you're interested. You hear that trailing off in the distance.
The
What'd they say?
knitting club.
Oh, knitting club?
Yeah, it's to the south if you're interested, is what they said.
I must admit, this whole thing about being killed by inopportune chairs sounds mildly curse-like.
I am thinking so as well.
Mildly.
It sounds too suspicious. I think this heap needs investigating.
That's
But
so
first, I'm
specific.
going to go ahead and check the scene of the crime.
Understandable. If you do so choose to investigate the heap, I can at least place a death ward on you.
I appreciate it.
I don't have many chair-related protections.
Neither do I. I can simply cheer you on from the sidelines. at a safe
Carry you on
distance.
from the sidelines.
Don't do that.
Well, I thought it was, because cheer,
No.
No.
It's-
Well, I mean, I
Stop
thought it
it.
was.
So they pointed
well,
towards the leafy one, not this one that looks abandoned too?
Correct. This one appears to be the upturned, upside-down hull of some ship. Cursory investigation of its outsides indicates it has been here for a very, very long time.
Deputy, do you know any reason as to why exactly this ship is here?
Don't know a thing, Sheriff. I'm new here too.
Don't
I
even
see.
go here, Sheriff.
Phoenix is gonna investigate or have a look at the outside of the exterior of this building. Is there anything that warrants its unstructurally unsound?
It appears that it has not been that long ago since it has been constructed based on the condition of the ropes and the architecture on the outside. There's a crude entrance, but it doesn't look like anybody has traversed the path here in a long time either.
Okay. Well, as he places on his hat and he starts entering the building.
Inside, you find furnishings, many of which look like they came directly from the heat itself, but have been variously polished in different ways as to be and create a more homely feel within the interior. Looking about, everything seems to be mostly untouched from however long it's been since the resident here disappeared. Looking around a little bit further, somewhere, and as you traverse into one of the higher rooms, there it is. A chair that appears to have been knocked over, and what appears to be bloodstains that have been very poorly cleaned up and have now dried and permanently stained the wooden ground.
Phoenix is going to continue this line of thinking that this is the work of a killer. as he starts investigating the bloodstains in the room itself. He's actually gonna look for, possibly, if this has not been too long ago, possibly either 2 sets of footprints. Or
All right, make an investigation check.
Or 2 sets of handprints too. Either way,
I can use the help action to give that advantage.
I already have advantage.
Phoenix begins an investigation about the area, and with their high aptitude for crime scene investigation, takes a look over at all of the available evidence. The chair might have been upturned, yes, and while the stains on the ground appear to have been from some kind of injury, the turned chair and the thing on the ground are at a further distance that one would expect. As in, if they did trip, they would have certainly been pushed. But there are no evidence that there was 2 series of footprints here at all. Only one, likely belonging to the resident. After investigating, that appears to be the only one that went everywhere throughout the abode.
So wait, it seemed that they were pushed and they fell on the chair, or the chair was pushed onto them?
It's hard to tell which, but looking at the ground, if the chair was pushed toward them, you would expect small, tiny scrapes to have been on the wood itself. But they're not. This indicates that it's more likely they were pushed to the chair.
This would be a lot easier if I could see the victim. As he's continuing his investigation. As he looks at the ring on his finger, perhaps this will be incredibly useful.
Perhaps.
Deputy, I'm gonna have to show you something amazing I found in my journey with these folk.
I have to show you something. Regretfully, I have to show you something amazing.
That was a
Well,
bit of a
alright.
that was a bit of a pregnant
Well-
pause before you said folk. I just want to point that out.
As
Phoenix
he
pulls out the sigil ring of memories.
It's still on his finger, and then using its power, creates the illusion of the past.
That's just the echo from Final Fantasy 14.
The initial item was supposed to be made with the intent of, you know how that one scene from Iron Man 2, or is it 3, where he's like going through the crime scene through a hologram?
Oh right.
Yeah.
That's pretty good,
that
actually.
That was the initial conception of the Ring of Memory.
That's pretty cool, actually.
Oh my god, yeah.
So he's gonna start slowly rewinding time until he can eventually see the victim.
Alright. Rewinding. The last thing that you actually see, because you're going backwards, like one bit at a time, right?
Yeah.
Is, let me find a good token for this. It looks like the resident was just a Kenku, and what you notice is their body appears to have been floating, because you're rewinding backwards, into the building through the window.
Wait, as in like they like got shunted out?
And then you see that their body gets laid, because again, this is backwards, is being laid down onto where the bloodstain is, their head having been cracked open. Reversing backwards some more, it definitely would have appeared to be the case that they are standing up and moving backward toward the chair. And then when you look at it further, and now putting it in the correct order of events, from the beginning to the end, what you see is the following. This Kenku appears to have walked over into the room, looked about, searching for something. As they were standing next to the chair, suddenly, with almost no kind of warning whatsoever, you see them violently shoved across the chair, tumbling and hitting their head against the ground, cracking it. And then shortly afterward, just a little minute passes, you see their body floating off of the ground into the middle of the air and begin to head over toward the crevasse here, where it exits the range of the memory itself.
Well, ain't that something?
told you, Deputy. This was no work of no curse. This is something else.
Strictly speaking, it isn't.
Invisible attacker, maybe.
You know.
Invisible attacker? Possibly. And then they just drag the body as he looks through in the direction of the crevasse. Possibly down there. Most curious. I don't take lightly to superstitions. Superstitions is just just lies they take that killers use to hide their evidence. As he ends the sigil ring of memories effects. Now, if I still only had the body, I could possibly use my goggles as well. Oh wait!
Go down the crevasse?
It is still entirely possible. Aqua.
Yes.
When he was, I was looking, I was visibly looking at the ring of memory. Oh, hold on, let me just check one thing real quick. How long does this thing work? Make a DC insight check. The number of days since. How long has it been? I guess how far back of the ring of memories did I have to go to till I eventually saw that?
About a year and a half.
Oh shoot, no, that's gonna be far. That DC is gonna be cracked. I cannot. Even I can't pass that check.
Are you sure?
Are you sure about that?
I was talking about the finder's glove. I was kind of hoping finder's goggles. I was hoping to use the locate creature, but it's not gonna work like that. Unless. No, it's not gonna work.
Wow. Yeah, that is a pretty high DC.
Yeah, especially it's been like over a year. That DC is gonna be so high.
Right back.
Unless I had something that auto passed insight checks, which I don't have.
Doesn't your gun do that?
If I hit them.
Yeah. But you're probably not gonna.
I'm not gonna. So
You hear naught but the desert wind.
Phoenix is starting to ponder again. So some invisible attacker is possibly is hindering these Kenku from having a look at the heap. As he turns to Ash, who's the most magically bound, he says, "Do you buddy have any chance, an ability to see the invisible?"
Let me see. 1 second. I'm looking. I have clairvoyance, but I don't think that will actually help here.
Your clairvoyance can maybe grant us better insights down that crevasse.
This is true. If you would like this, then I can.
No, only if you see the need to. I will not force you to spend such a spell slot.
Very well, but I do trust your opinion. If you think it would be useful at any point or place in time, simply let me know so that I can prepare it.
Phoenix nods. Well, I suppose this crime scene has already been thoroughly investigated. It is unfortunate that this Kenku met such a fate for merely just perusing through what appears to be a large amount of trash. There were several others. I suppose we better continue our investigation.
Several other houses, or you wish to speak with the other Kenku?
The other Kenku.
There they are.
Actually, Phoenix does see like these coconuts over here. Are those also like structures that people lived in?
From the distance, although there doesn't appear to be an easy way across, there appears to be clothes on the line and pots outside that seem to indicate that somebody lives here.
Wait. we're assuming that the body, only because of the body, I'm assuming that the body was towards the crevasse, but it's entirely possible, as he looks in the direction as to possibly where may they have gone, they may have been entered through there. As he looks,
If you want to get over there, I can take you.
he looks down. He's just like, I'm terrified of things that I cannot physically accomplish.
Well,
As he's like,
taxi's here.
Oh, wait, hold on. If you want to get across there, I have Dimension Door now.
I mean, I can just carry people and jump as long as you're not more than like 200 pounds. Either that, or I could
Phoenix
climb
looks a
along
bit
down
worried
here.
about the possibility of jumping over a massive crevasse.
It's 15 feet. Mimi can make that. Or Mimi can just climb along the wall while carrying you. Just down here.
15 feet.
It is more like 30 feet.
Oh. Well, no, I was talking about down here. And plus, if Mimi gets up here before she jumps, she has a height advantage.
What say you, Agro? What seems the feasibility of Mimi doing such thing?
Let me see.
14 strength, 16 dex, if that matters. She only carries about 30 pounds with a max load of 210. She's got the fun new gauntlets now.
How much jump do you have again, you said?
14 is her strength. So,
Jump of 14.
yeah. She is proficient in acrobatics and athletics, if that matters at all. But
Remind me, does slow fall it's just a reaction and doesn't require you to expend any ki, right? It just works?
yeah, it just works.
Okay. On the ground, it doesn't look like it would be super feasible, but there is another option, potentially. Mimi, go ahead and make an investigation check.